Welcome back to the student section. That's not right, Parker. I'm Aidan Lavin, filling in for William Rosen. I thought maybe sitting in his seat I would gain the all-powerful voice that William has. Instead, I'm just going to be myself, and I'm joined here with James Conable and Quinn Smith. James, a senior medley swimmer, and Quinn, a backstroke junior swimmer. Parker, James, Quinn, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. James, now third time on the show.
Yep.
And I would say that you're probably in the Student Section Hall of Fame. We were talking about this a little bit before the cameras were rolling. You appeared after the MAACs with Chris Dowser.
Yep.
And now, Quinn, you're taking Chris's spot, which is big shoes to fill.
It is very big shoes.
And then you
Literally.
appeared with the SAC.
Yeah,
with
it was
Alana and
Dane.
Dane, yes,
Yeah.
another swimmer. We've had a lot of swimmers on the show. And now you're back again after your MAAC appearance as a senior.
Yep.
And we're very glad that you guys are here, obviously showing off the medals that you've won. So just kind of talk about the week of the MAACs, being in Ohio, which is an interesting place to be for a MAAC championship, being that, you know, geographically I'm not the best with maps, but I think it's a little strange for that to be in Ohio.
Yeah, it was it was a great week. We had our MAACs up at the Spire Institute in Geneva, Ohio, which is like in the middle of nowhere. But really great facility and kind of a long drive, but it is what it is. And we had a lot of great swims. We didn't come away with the win this year. We won last year, but that's okay. I mean, there's nothing to be mad about. Everybody swam really lights out, and I had a good meet. Quinn had a great meet, and I think that there's nothing to be bummed about or anything about our performance for sure.
A little bit disappointing not to be able to bring home a ring, but
yeah, I mean, we'd love to. But
everyone swam so well. It was hard to be mad about much.
Yeah, it's not easy to repeat. Obviously.
No, it's tough. And
Niagara
Niagara won, and they had a great we got bested, so
For sure.
they had a great meet, and there's nothing to be mad about.
Was there a point in the championships where you thought it was still attainable, and then when did that kind of go away and you said, oh, well, Niagara definitely has it?
Yeah, it was close. It was a really tight meet. We were first after the mile, so the mile's on the last day, and we were really strong in the mile. I went and won the mile this year, and they got us like 50 points, and we were first at the end of the last day, at the beginning of the last session, and then they had the 200 breaststroke. And they had 5 guys in their A final, the 200 breaststroke, and that was tough. And then when we didn't win the 200 fly, which was one of the last events, that's when we knew that it wasn't going to happen. And that's something crazy would have had to happen for us to win it, and that's when it kind of sunk in. But it was really tight.
Yeah, it was a super tight meet the whole way through. Fairfield and Niagara really were battling it out with us. Glad to come out in second though.
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
super tight at the end.
They did a lot of winning, Parker. Obviously, you can see with their medals here on this desk here, and obviously on their bodies as well. Do you want to talk about just the records that were broken by these two individuals?
Yeah, so you guys have broken a ton of records, especially this past weekend. But I guess what was that feeling like when you touched the wall and you realized that you broke a record?
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's I wanted going into the meet. I had some goals, and that were to break the conference record in the 200 IM, and then I also wanted to break the conference record in the 400 IM. First day, I went and broke the conference record in the 200 IM.
Big deal.
Which was it was great, man. Like that's all I could have asked for. I had a great swim. Everything went perfect. And then I got the little celly at the end, which was worth it. You know, It makes it all worth it there at the end. And that was kind of set the tone, I think, for some of the other guys to get going. And we had some good swims after that. And then I was so close in the 400 IM. I broke my school record by 2 seconds, but I was about 0.5 away from the conference record in the 400 IM, which is gonna keep me up at night, but it is what it is. I left it all in the pool. You know, I can't say that I had anything left. So. And then the mile was a good swim. I didn't break any records in that one, but I'm super happy with that. But
Yeah, I mean, just talking about your 2 IM, that was one of the most lights out swims I've ever seen. Getting to watch that from the end of the pool was quite a privilege.
yeah, he was pulling me along during the breaststroke. He was like, I saw him briefly. I was like, let's go in. And I was all tired. But yeah, having the support of my guys was amazing and helped me a lot. this guy knows a little bit something about breaking records.
Yep.
He had a crazy year last year, and
Yep.
in the 200 backstroke, and he's kind of the clinic of the 200 backstroke. So.
How do you get into a unique stroke like the backstroke? Because when you're typically swimming, I mean, you obviously are freestyling, and then all of a sudden you just say, actually, I like swimming on my back better.
Yeah, so I never really kind of specialized in any stroke until I got into college. And then it was kind of, I used to do IM like James. I was never as good as he was, but I've always kind of been a little better at backstroke than the other ones. So I just kind of started getting into it. I hit some pretty good times at the end of high school. So I just kind of started focusing on that more. And the way my body's built, it's easier for me to do the longer axis strokes instead of like butterfly and free or butterfly and breaststroke.
If you're casually swimming, like in a pool or in an ocean, are you going to do a backstroke or are you going to just freestyle?
I do typically stick with the freestyle if I'm going like a long distance, but it's nice to change up onto my back to hit some other muscles.
Quinn's a sneaky freestyler. He's like he swims the backstroke. He's our guy on the backstroke. And he makes it look really easy, but he can swim a solid 500 freestyle, 200 freestyle. Like he's a sneaky fast freestyle swimmer. He's a great swimmer all around. Except maybe that breaststroke is a little rough, but breaststroke's
not my thing.
Not my thing. Breaststroke's no fun, so that's all right.
Very interesting. Yeah. I think from your question, I thought it was interesting. You already knew the times in the back of your head as to what to beat.
Yeah.
So when you touch the wall and you look up at the video board, you know whether or not you broke it right away?
Yeah, so it's blinking. A conference record blinks on the board when you break it at the meet. So but I knew the time in my head anyway. It was 1:46.7 was the time to beat, and I went 1:46.4. And so I knew when I saw the time that I broke it, but it was also blinking. And those were my goals going into the meet. You know what I mean? I feel like it's good to have those big goals. You know, whether attainable or not, like it's good to set the bar high, and that was my goal, like bare minimum to go there. And I went there plus a little more, so I'm super excited about it.
And like, what goes through your head when you're like racing? Like, because I know from running, like it's a different like.
Yeah, it's definitely so. Kind of depends on the race for me, and you can speak a little bit to the 200 backstroke, but it's like for me. Like, I don't remember. Like, I can't tell you, like, what I was thinking about, like, in the 200 IM. Like, I don't really remember now. Like, oftentimes I'll get to the wall and I, like, can't really see. And, like, there's just, like, a lot going on. Like, you know, all the blood's going to my muscles or whatever. So I don't have a lot of memory of it. But I know that I'm very conscious of, like positive self-talk during my races. So, like, I'm like, I know I've done this a million times. Like, I'll be talking to myself during each kind of portion of my race, being like, I know what I do here. Like, I'm confident in my ability to do this really well right now. And then I kind of just step my way through the race in that way. And then, like, to the end, like, I'll be on the last lap and I'll be like, okay, head down, kick, move your arms. Like, I've done this a million times in practice. Finish it here.
Just get to the wall.
Just get to the wall. So I don't know. That's kind of what goes through my head. And then
I feel like at like this point in the season, and especially like this point in our careers, we've been doing these events for so long. It's almost like muscle memory at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just kind of like refining that in practice. And it's like we know what we got to do, and we just get it done as fast as we can.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, our taper, the way we kind of train, culminates to this moment. So we're all sharp. At this point, so we just got to go out there and race.
Yep.
And if you have somebody next to you, like competitive, like we're super competitive, so that's what's like going to be in our mind. We know what we need to do in our race and know how to execute it, and just time to go win. You know.
I've heard that running and track are kind of the same with the working up to whether it be the MAAC championships for you, and then obviously indoor or outdoor for you. What I think for all three of you, really, what are some of the struggles of trying to, it's like a fine line that you kind of have to walk, working your way up to the pinnacle and the peak of your performance for you when you're running, and then for you two when you're swimming. How do you manage it so that you don't over-exert energy, and then by the time, obviously you've been doing it for a while, but by the time you get to the max, you're at your peak and you're not, you missed it or you peaked way too, or not too early, but how does that work?
Yeah, I feel that's kind of all like the kind of trust in your coach. Okay, like he kind of knows best. You just got to rely on the fact that he knows best. He's the coach. He's there for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
He'll get us as in the best shape we possibly could be, probably, or at the best shape he can get us into. And you just gotta kind of be confident in what you've done, in the work you put in throughout the season, and let the race take the rest
There's
of
a strict regimen.
Well, so we come in after break, and we've got about 3 weeks of intense training.
Yeah, it's about 3 weeks of intense training.
Like the most intense of the whole year, and then we start to come down for about 2 weeks. We call that taper.
But like the quality of your training stays at the level, but the yardage, so like the quantity,
Gotcha.
it goes down.
Yeah.
So your just body's more rested, but you're still like sharp. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
You don't lose.
for sure.
You don't lose any stroke abilities or anything. But that's the chess game, honestly. Like
Yeah.
that's like
Figuring out like how soon to start that, and
yeah,
how
that's
fast to drop off and stuff.
and that's what makes a good coach, honestly. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, like everybody's gonna swim faster when tapered. Like that's just baseline. But the chess game is figuring out like each
fast you
person,
can get.
and how fast you can get. Because everybody's a little different. Everybody has more muscles.
Yeah.
Some people have less, and that's like, the women's team tapers differently than the men's team in some ways. So that's like kind of the chess game. But we trust our coach, and he's done us right before. I don't know if it's the same thing with running, but it's kind of
Yeah.
like, it's just you got to put your faith in his training. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely very similar.
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
makes sense.
Interesting. I'm fascinated by all that because it's just sports performance. Like you want to
Yeah.
make sure that you're performing your best at the most important times,
Yeah.
and there are like meets before the MAAC, so you
Yeah,
want
for
to
sure.
win those,
Yeah.
but you also want to make sure that you're not doing too much, so that when the MAACs come, the most important event, that you're at your peak then.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's part of the tough part of kind of getting through the season. You got to have that mindset that our goal is max.
Right.
That's like our final destination. So even though we all want to like have fun and like do our best in every single meet, that's not really feasible to do. So we kind of just got to keep in mind that we're training for like one goal throughout the whole season. I mean, you do your best at all the dual meets, but sometimes you don't really get the results you want at all of them.
Yeah. The times don't come. I mean, that's when we learn how to race, right? That's when you learn how to do your races, or refine your races, those dual meets, because so everything's sharp at that final MAAC championship meet.
Yeah. No, I've got like a bit of a fun question for you guys. So imagine yourself, it's the 2012 London Olympics, you're Michael Phelps, you've got the cans on, you're locked in before a race. What are you listening to?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. I'm about to. Okay. What do you got? I got Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill.
Okay.
Probably. That's like up there on my hype music. I was listening to that a little bit this week, just trying to get in the mode. But I think that's probably what I got.
I've never really been a music listener, but like before my races and stuff, it kind of freaks me out. But I remember in high school before our relays, we would always listen to Location by Playboi Carti, and you just kind of get on that similar vibe, that wavelength.
What
Put us
about
in-
music
put us in a
freaks
good
you
mood.
out? I think that's an interesting concept there.
I've just never really done it. I've always just kind of been like I gotta be like aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything too special to kind of like get in my head about
Gotcha.
my race, because I've done these races a million times. It's not like it's anything super special.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of like to keep everything as chill as I can when I'm getting ready for my races. I don't want to psych myself out by doing anything that I don't normally do.
What is special is your hair.
Yeah.
And Quinn, I'm not sure, I guess you didn't partake in that, but there were a ton of swimmers on the team that decided to bleach their hair
Yeah,
blonde.
we did a senior guys thing.
Okay.
He's a junior this
Yep,
year, but all the senior guys bleached their hair. I actually just bleached mine again because
You like it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. I think
No,
I
he
like
likes
it.
it. He likes it.
But yeah, I think I'm just. This is my last time bleaching. I'm not gonna bleach again, but I'm gonna let it grow out. But yeah, a bunch of us bleached our hair and just I don't know, to change things up, kind of last swim meet.
Was that your idea?
No, it was my friend Owen's idea.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's been fun. It's some like kind of like a team bonding activity in some ways, and it's a big thing that swim teams do.
So you'd
Bleach
say
their hair.
like, no, like I need that for your bleached hair?
yeah, no, like I need that.
He needs that.
Is there a backstory there?
Yeah, but not one we can tell.
We were given some inside information about
we got, he lives with us.
Thank you to Anthony for that.
Thank you to Anthony for that. Shout out Anthony. Yeah, like I need that.
No, he needs that.
No,
He
like,
needs
I
that for
need
sure. He needs that.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, I'll tell you the story after.
Okay, that's an off-camera thing.
That's an off-camera thing.
That's fair.
That's an off-camera thing. But yeah, no. Back to what I was just saying about back to the music thing. That's it's like 50-50 on if people do it or not. It's because what I've not Europeans don't do it, which is interesting. I've it's kind of an American thing. And I always do it because it gets me in the right headspace. But like sometimes, like Quinn, like if it vibes you out, like you're not gonna. Like if you get too inside your head about it,
I was freaking out the whole
yeah.
time.
Sometimes you just got to be like present, in the pool and just not be listening to music in your head and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm a little bit surprised though, because don't you study music or?
Yes, I am a music minor, so I guess it would make sense
That is
for me to
ironic.
be always listening to something. But yeah, in my free time, I'm listening to music. But when I'm getting locked in for my race, I just kind of like to focus on that.
Are there
and try
any
to just keep it as
instruments you
simple as
play?
possible. Sorry.
You play any instruments?
Yeah, I'm learning guitar right now. I played trombone and baritone in high school.
Oh yeah.
I was in the pep band for a little bit freshman year. That was pretty fun.
Did you break your collarbone by holding the trombone, or how did that come about?
Actually,
in summer.
yeah, I broke both of my collarbones skiing in high school.
Okay.
First one, I think I was in 6th grade. I was on the opening day of the ski hill. That was kind of a bummer. And then the second one I broke junior year, and that put me out for the whole swim season. That was also a pretty massive bummer.
Yeah, that's got to be
Since junior year is a
devastating.
pretty important recruiting year for
Yeah.
swimming. But I managed to come back over that summer and get up some good times that Coach Randall was able to see and start a conversation over. So
What was required for you to make that comeback from recovering from that injury?
I mean, I just started signing up for a bunch of like club meets and stuff because it was my high school varsity season that I missed, which is usually where I do most of my swimming.
Yep.
So I just started locking into club more, and signed up for a bunch of meets and was just dropping times each and every meet. So I guess it was more of the consistent time dropping, probably because my times weren't super fast coming in, but I guess they were fast enough to raise some eyebrows.
Yeah.
For the coaches.
Interesting. So you ski, James. I know we've talked about you don't really do anything outside of swimming. That's what you've said. Are there any other hobbies that either of you have that you
I think he
enjoy?
did get out to the hill once over break. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean?
You went snowboarding, right?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did go
Nice.
snowboard.
Did you go with them?
No, I was up in California. I guess I snowboard. I surf out in California. I just find myself when I'm here just mostly focused on swimming. But
Makes sense.
I'm done now, so it's time to create a personality for myself.
There you
know,
Yes,
it's
sir.
time to like get start life,
Build some hobbies.
build
maybe.
some hobbies,
Find some
maybe
hobbies.
find some hobbies. I play guitar a little bit too.
Okay.
On my free time, and I don't know. I don't know. That's
Swim and dive band, maybe.
Swim and dive. Yeah.
You two as the guitarists, and then who else? Who would be?
Stay
who would
tuned.
make
Hunter
up?
Emerson's gonna sing.
There we
Hunter
go.
Emerson would
He's
totally
our
be
boy. He's
singing.
gonna sing.
Totally be singing.
Who's on
Anthony played the
drums?
cowbells.
Nice. Who's on drums?
Who's on drums? We gotta find
Be on
somebody for
drums.
drums.
I feel like Mason would play the drums.
I feel like Mason could play the drums. We can teach somebody to play the drums.
I feel like Mason kind of reminds me of like Animal from the Muppets.
Yeah.
Why is that?
He's just got that sparky attitude.
Okay, I like that.
Mason could be on drums,
Yeah.
and then that's a good idea. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Stay tuned.
We'll update with
Creating-
drop a song in a couple weeks.
tuned.
All right.
See what we can do.
And that all started right here on the student section. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Someone write that down.
Look what we created.
It's amazing how that happens. So for you guys now, obviously your swim season, well, your swim career is come to an end, and then obviously you're out of season until next year. So what are your plans for senior year and beyond?
I'm gonna enjoy myself this following semester, and then I've talked about this before, but I've always wanted to go abroad, do the abroad program. So I've saved a couple classes to take an extra
Nice.
semester and go to
Good for you.
Florence. So that's my immediate plan. I'm gonna do that, and then life starts. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with my my life, but
Back to the West Coast or staying on the
I'm gonna
East
probably
Coast?
stay on the East Coast now. My
Okay.
parents just actually are moving out
wow.
to Washington D.C. in the beginning of May. So, well, I'm not gonna have home base in California anymore, which is a little bit of a bummer.
Yep.
But I'll probably be on the East Coast for a little while, and then if I end up back in California, that's great.
DC
Yeah.
is a great place.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, they're really excited about moving there. And
I'm from Maryland,
oh,
so
okay, yeah, they're really
Sell
excited.
them. Sell them on it. Give them a
Well,
sales pitch.
there's several museums. You've got the
Yeah.
Smithsonian National Museum.
Yeah.
You've got Air and Space Museum, which is not my favorite.
Okay.
That was
But
pretty cool, I think.
Have you ever been to the museum?
a
Have
what?
you ever been to the museum? It's like the
Museum?
news museum.
Huh.
I went there once when I was young. I remember that being really fun. I'll
Interesting.
check that one out. But
I'll have to take a trip there.
yeah, no, I'm really excited about
You've
about
got the zoo, which is like my favorite.
Oh, yeah,
There we go.
Yeah, they have the
I love
pandas. I'm
zoos.
so excited about the
Favorite
pandas.
animal?
zoos.
Cheetahs.
Cheetah.
But
What's
I
your
love
favorite
pandas.
animal?
I'm gonna say giraffe. I can't say giraffe.
That's just your spirit animal, bro.
Yeah, I was a panda. I think I like
Panda.
pandas.
Quinn, you got one?
I like this bird called a loon. They live up on
That's
the
really
St.
cool.
Lawrence River. My grandparents have a house up there, so.
I was partially expecting a sea animal, but neither of them. They both said land, being that they're swimmers. So a little off-brand, but that's okay. Quinn, what does your off-season look like?
Well, I'm actually I gotta get back in the pool today, actually,
Nice.
to prepare for postseason meet, National Invitational Championships.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We got a pretty good squad going this year. We keep just getting more and more kids going every year. It's pretty awesome, and I'm really excited. Last year it was one of the most fun meets I've ever been to,
Yep.
and I swam faster at that meet than I did at Champs. So
Wow.
I'm looking forward to it.
Where's that taking place?
Down in Ocala, Florida.
Okay.
So that's part of the reason I'm looking forward to it. It's
Yeah,
nice to be
get out of the
in some
cold.
warm weather.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Interesting. And you're doing the backstroke there?
Yeah, I'm looking to do 100 back and 2 back again. I'll be on the 4 medley relay, and I might be taking a spot on the 8 free relay.
Freestyle.
Freestyle. No
Yeah,
way.
I was thinking about time
Sneaky.
trial, doing a
Watch
little
out.
time trial
Watch
on the
out.
500 free. See what I can get down there. I haven't swum it since sophomore year of high school, so
What's no reason not to try now?
yeah, right.
I like
Gotta go
it.
for
I
it.
like it. And then, so you come back, and then you're done with swimming for the season.
Yeah. We'll have some postseason practices. They're looking like they're gonna all be at 6 a.m., which is
Nice.
a little bit unfortunate, but
And James, you don't have to go to
Nah.
those. Nice.
I don't go to those.
it'd be nice to get them out of the way at least.
Yeah. You guys. That's what I was thinking about. You guys at least have the afternoons off.
Yeah.
I was thinking about going to this NIC meet, the National Invitational Championship, but I got to. I think I'm gonna end off in the way I did it at Max, and I don't want to go lose.
He doesn't want to lose.
I don't wanna lose. There's like a lot of super fast kids at this meet, so I'm probably gonna lose, and I don't want to lose. So sorry.
And on a high. And on a high. note.
Yeah.
That's right.
But yeah, he's gonna get after it down there. It's a really fun meet. So
That's awesome. Parker, you have any other questions?
Well, I've seen that you had an array of jobs. Like you were a lab intern,
oh yeah.
you were a lifeguard, which I commend you for because I failed my lifeguard test.
That sucks.
It's a little bit embarrassing, but yeah. And then you also worked at a boating and fishing.
I did
store?
work at a boat. Yeah, I've had a few jobs. I was a biology major when I first came into college, and that's why I got the lab internship job. That was actually really cool, and I still love science. It's just not for me. And then I worked at West Marine when I was in high school. That was like during COVID, and West Marine's like a fishing and boating store with like my 2 best friends. That was like probably my best job. That was so fun. And then I was a lifeguard. Yeah, I worked at Scolars, which is like this food spot. That was my first job. And then I was last summer, I was an intern. I was like a strategy and policy intern at a public transportation company. So I've had a few different jobs, and they've all taught me good things, and I've had a great time doing them, you know.
Your newest job for both of you now is basketball entertainment. I've heard. Or I've
Oh
seen.
yeah. No, that was we gotta do that.
We gotta
Right?
come
That
back
has to be
out.
our
We
job
gotta
now.
come
I
back
think
out.
so. Yeah,
We
you
gotta
can
come
put
back
that
out.
on the resume.
Yeah.
How did that?
That was such a
epic.
fun
That was
night.
epic.
How did that come about?
I don't know. I think
Yeah,
it was Mason. I think.
Yeah, I think it was Mason. I think he was talking to me, and he was like, "Yo, the basketball game tonight's gonna be on ESPN Plus." And we were like,
Like,
"Yo, we should
ESPN,
go. We should totally go." And we were like, "Should we do like we've seen a couple other schools have done
Yeah.
stuff like that?" So we were like, should we just like do it? Just kind of get in our Speedos and go get rowdy.
Yeah.
And we got a group of guys together. We were all kind of like, are we actually gonna do this right now? Like, if you guys don't want to do it, like I'm totally cool just not doing it. But yeah, we all got our parkas on and went out in our parkas. People were giving us funny looks. They're like, what are these kids doing here? and then they understood after the first free throw.
Stole the show.
Yeah, that was fun. It was honestly really fun. We left it all out there. I was tired.
Was tough after
I was tired after that.
Yelling, jumping around.
I would imagine. I don't remember the free throw percentage, but I'm going to say that you guys definitely made them miss a few.
Yeah, we definitely made them miss a few. They didn't miss that many.
Yeah, they didn't miss
We
that
did a
many.
lot for them to not miss a lot of their free throws.
Yeah.
What was your favorite out of all the different?
Different little things we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Giving birth.
Giving birth was pretty
Giving
good.
birth was pretty good.
And then we just like picked somebody up and they like swam freestyle or like they swam the IM and then they like did that one was good.
That was good.
Even got on the floor.
Oh, we did get on the floor.
Oh yeah, we got
I
to
can't
some
believe we did
t-shirts.
that.
That was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy.
That. She was like, she just comes up to us. She's like, next time out, go and throw t-shirts. And we're like, all right. Like, and then, God, yeah. So
Had to get everyone.
it was good to embarrass ourselves. It was fun
no, it was
because
really
it was like the energy was great at
Yeah.
that game and we won and the basketball team's so good this year.
Yeah,
They have
super
been,
excited
yeah.
to see where they
If
get.
they're going to the tourney, I'm going. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
if they go to the tournament, you guys, they have to get a shuttle bus for the swim team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring your
Yeah.
standards out one more
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
That's
Maybe you
national
should
team.
do some like painting on your chest.
Yeah, we were thinking about it. We actually have body paint like in our locker room because we've done that before. But we were thinking it's gonna get sweaty. We were like we were getting
And
sweaty.
it did.
And it did. Yeah, and so we didn't want to drip everywhere. But yes, we do have to do that. And if they go to the tournament, that will be happening.
Okay. So your last time in a Speedo was not at the MAAC.
No.
It'll be.
My last time was
It'll be at the MAAC basketball
Yeah,
championship.
exactly.
Not the swim championship.
Exactly.
Beautiful. I love it. That sounds fantastic.
Yes, sir.
That was an experience. I don't think anyone was
Expecting that?
expecting it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Did you see the picture of the poor lady that had to sit next to us? there was some lady.
We took up like the whole front row, and so she had bought a couple of the seats in the front row, and she was like, "Hey," before the game, she's like, "Hey guys, do you mind moving?" We were like, all right." We were like, she doesn't know what she's getting into here. And the first free throw comes around. I think there's a picture on one of the Instagrams of her just like.
Yeah, she's like we take off. She's
freaking
like
out a little bit.
she's like has a child next to her or something. Poor lady. But well, we brought the energy, so it was
That's right.
fun and everybody.
Resulted in a win.
It resulted
You
in a
guys,
win.
you guys are 1-0.
Yeah,
All because of you guys.
Yeah, and people thought it was funny, so whatever.
Were there
I think
people
people- I think
outside
people
of
like
school that you guys like they saw it and they were
Yeah, yeah. There were some
definitely
people on like other teams who like were watching the game and like DM'd us or whatever. And then a bunch of people,
Seeing the
you know, a
Instagram
bunch of
posts.
family members saw
Yeah.
it. So
what was their reaction to that?
they were like, "You're an idiot."
My parents loved it.
Yeah, his parents. Yeah, my parents liked it. They thought it was funny, but
We low-key got way more screen time than we were anticipating.
Yeah, we were expecting maybe like one,
Yeah.
oh, there's the swim
Flash to
team.
them
They
and
have their
come back.
Speedos on,
Yeah.
but like we definitely got a couple, and we were on the jumbotron a bunch.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah, it became the center of attention. It was
Yeah, it was-
fantastic.
it was pretty cool.
And I
It's
think what was the song that you guys were dancing along to?
Sweet Caroline, is it?
Yeah, but there was one we were doing the like cheer with the cheer squad. We were doing the like routine.
Oh, we were doing the routine with the cheer squad, and then we did the Macarena at one point.
Oh yeah, we were doing that
During a free throw, and then I don't know. They put on Sweet Caroline, and like the section that we were in for that was like kind of dead at that point.
Yeah,
So we had to.
The far side of the gym was way more hype than the close side.
So we had to get
We
the
had to do
people
some
going.
work.
I think there was a lot of like, I don't know. There's just some people that were just like kind of bumming it. So we had to get the people up.
You strategically switched sides because they were shooting on that
we
side,
had-
or because of?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we also got kicked out of our seats.
Yeah,
so
some guys actually let us stay. Some other people bought those seats, but they let us.
they were like,
stay.
we can't like take your seats, and we're like, that was so real.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
real.
stayed for the first half in their seats, and then, but they were like, you got to go for the second half. So we just went to the other side, and it was still fun on the other side. Like there was like more students on the other side, but but I don't know. This is like the vibes were weird, so we had to get the people going. You know.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But there's been a decent attendance at the basketball.
No, it's been
Yeah.
great.
It's been pretty packed.
It's been great. I'm excited to see what they do with their season. It's like we're basketball school. I feel like
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
swimming school, track school.
Not if we didn't win.
No track yet, but soon to come.
Not anymore.
That's funny. Well, James, Quinn, Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for having us
It's
on.
always
Thanks
a
for having
blast
us.
having the swim team on. You did a great job in place of Chris.
Thank you. Thank you.
Parker, I'm glad you were able to come on the show. This has been great. And with that, this has been the swim team after the MAAC championships. They placed second overall. James obviously broke a bunch of MAAC records, a bunch of school records. Quinn is going to the National Invitational
Championship.
in Florida, so that should be fun. Good luck there. Thank you
you.
guys for joining us.
Yeah,
This
thanks so
has
much for
been
having us
Yeah,
on.
thank you
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thank you guys.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to Aidan's Asks. What a great conversation that Aidan and Parker had with the swimmers. Now, Aidan Asks. I'm your host, Derek DeGallo, and it's the Double D show on the other side. From Rhode Island, David Demopoulos from Rhode Island, Derek DeGallo from Rhode Island. Take it away. Talk about yourself.
I'm
where you're
David.
from.
I'm David Demopoulos from Rhode Island, sports comm major, senior here at Marist. Big Red Sox fan, as you can see. Excited to talk ball today.
All right, and then on the other side, all of our coming back from the show from the first episode.
Happy to be here. Matt, I'm from Poughkeepsie, local, sports comm journalism major.
I'm Marissa. I'm from North Jersey and Wayne, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Tyler. I'm a senior. I'm from Philadelphia studying sports communication.
So everybody's studying sports communication. What were your thoughts on the interview that Aidan and Parker had with the swimmers?
Well, I thought it was really excellent. I liked the questions that they asked them a lot, and I especially liked the segment that they talked about the basketball game because that was a pretty viral moment for our college, and I liked how they brought attention to that.
I thought it was cool that he talks about bleaching his hair. Like, it was something when he walked in, I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. But they looked cool, and it was good. He said it was team bonding. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, talking about the basketball game was great. I was watching that game on ESPN and just watching them and then seeing them here in the studio talking about it. It's pretty cool.
I agree 100%. Seeing them in the Speedos, it felt like for the first time since I've been here, like a real, true like basketball environment, and getting to hear a little bit about them, just like talking about how that whole thing progressed, I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, a great segment that Aidan and Parker had with the swimmers. Well, now Aidan,
Hi.
let's start the show with Aidan Asks.
That's right. Here I am, about to ask some questions. Spring training obviously just is beginning to get underway. Pitchers and catchers reported, so a lot of the MLB headlines are starting to take precedent as the middle of the season. Like, this is a weird time in sports where you don't have, obviously every Sunday you don't have football. Sunday, Thursday, sometimes Wednesday. They're kind of taking over like the whole week. But it's not football season. The NBA is at All-Star break, as is the NHL, which, by the way, the NHL, I'm not sure if any of you watched it, but Four Nations, that was fantastic. Obviously, I know you're a big hockey guy.
Not sure.
So it was interesting. Just trying something new, which the NBA All-Star game needs to do. But our focus today is on baseball. And I think first we should just talk about, obviously, you're a Red Sox fan. Derek, you are a.
Yankees fan.
Ty is a.
Phillies fan.
And Marissa.
Yankees.
And Matt.
Yankees.
Yankees. I'm a Yankees fan as well. I think our first topic of discussion is not going to involve any of those teams. However, my first question is about the Dodgers. And I want to know about your guys' opinions on the spending that the Dodgers have done. Would you be pro-salary cap, anti-salary cap? How would you fix the spending that the Dodgers are doing? Or do you think that it should be fixed and you would rather just embrace the Dodgers spending and expect other teams to follow suit?
All right, I'll start first. I'm anti-salary cap. I think the reason is baseball is so different than every other sport. Not having a salary cap kind of gives minor league athletes, especially, more of an opportunity because when you have a salary cap for professional sports, it also affects all the minor league athletes that are involved as well. Baseball is the one sport that has AAA, single A, double A, single A, Dominican League. They have all these other platforms for players to get paid. The biggest question mark has been with baseball is these minor league players aren't getting paid. The salary cap basically defeats the entire purpose of that because you're so focused on the major league athletes, and then you go based on you look at the NFL too. Football, quarterbacks are getting paid the most. Everybody else is kind of not getting paid. So you look at baseball. All right, who's going to get paid? Is it going to be a hitter? Is it going to be a pitcher? It kind of defeats the purpose of really the problem in other sports has been position value. Quarterback getting paid, well, baseball, there's more positions, more positions in terms of 9, 10. There's designated hitters, so are those basically becoming devalued? I just think there's so much more to baseball than every other sport, which is why I don't think that there should be a salary cap.
It's a fascinating response.
I definitely agree with that. I'm more of a proponent for a salary floor because a lot of these teams, like the A's, like the Rays, they're just not going to spend at all. And the only way to incentivize these lower market teams to spend is to have a salary floor. Like having the Dodgers have like pushing a $400 million payroll, and then having the Rays sitting around there at like just maybe eclipsing 100.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like a discrepancy, but there needs to be something that MLB has to do to get these lower market teams to spend more, because if not, it's just going to be the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Mets just battling it out for every free agent. And we'll see next year when Vladdy hits the market how that works out. But
you saw the Athletics too kind of get bullied into spending this year because they were going to be not a part of the bargaining agreement that they have, where everyone's a part of a pool of money for the smaller market teams, and they said, well, if you haven't spent any money, you're not going to be a part of it, and you won't get the money that is a part of that agreement. So I thought that was interesting, and that kind of relates to, I think, the floor that you're talking about, where, hey, you have to spend X amount of money, otherwise you're not going to get the other incentives that these big markets are giving you.
Yeah, well, I'll switch the conversation because I kind of have the same opinions as them about salary cap to the Dodgers. I think that the Dodgers are not going to be good. I think it's a hot take. I think they're going to be good, above average, but I don't think they're going to be a stellar team. And the reason I say that is because injuries are a very common thing that happen. And you can have a big injury to one of your star players, and then you have to adjust and bring in a different player to take his position. There's a lot of things that could happen, and I think a lot of times in other sports, when they build super teams, they don't always work out. I mean, look at the Suns, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. Like, that's not working out, obviously. Like, there's a lot of things that could go wrong that I think will go wrong in a sport like baseball.
Yeah, it's very possible. I think the nice thing with the Dodgers is that they have a lot of backup besides that, and a lot of depth. Because
That's true.
for pitchers, like, they have a close to 7-man rotation, and they're all
that's to start the season.
Yeah,
almost two full rotations.
And their seven guys are all at least 1 or 2s on pretty much any other team in the league. Which for that perspective, like, the injuries are going to happen, but I think they have people in the stable that are going to be able to work off of that. And then for hitting, I don't think they have holes necessarily. I don't know if they have as much depth, but they have a minor league system that is a second to none. It's always been that way. They can bring up players at any point.
Yeah,
crazy.
You make trades because of the minor league system. There's just so much that the Dodgers can do.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, definitely possible with injuries. You never know. It could happen to any team, but maybe.
I unfortunately think the Dodgers are going to be really successful this year. I mean, what's stopping them? Like you said, injuries, but I think that they'll be able to push through. I mean, like you said, who has a rotation like that? Like, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Like, they give them the Yankees.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, we have a professor here, Leander, who was kind of talking about it, and he was saying how hopefully this might be the starting point for making more teams spend more money. You have these stingy owners, and then teams that historically have just never paid their players a lot of money. Maybe this will be the driving factors. Like, if you don't like it, catch up. Start putting money.
Yeah.
What teams do you guys think we could do like a little bit of a preview of the season now. What teams do you think will be able to compete with the Dodgers and kind of battle against the almighty powerful?
Top 5 compete.
Yeah, why not? Whatever
I
you
like
want.
a team that I think is going to be slept on is the Rangers.
Okay. Bounce back from last year.
I love the fact that they're going to have Evan Carter back and healthy, Wyatt Langford, his second season, fully healthy DeGrom, knock on wood. And they won the World Series 2 years ago. So I'd say watch out for the Rangers this year.
I think there's going to be more moves that happen. The Padres are a team that comes to mind. Michael King, Dylan Cease, 2 guys who might get moved. If those guys get moved, let's just say the Red Sox want to get involved and trade for a pitcher. Let's just say the Rangers want to add more pitching, or another team wants to add more pitching. Cease and King right now, I would say, are frontline starters that you could pitch Game 1 or Game 2. If they end up getting moved, that's a completely new perspective of if someone gets that guy. I think unless if they're completely out of the playoffs, but most likely if you get a guy like that, you're going to be in contention, and it could put you over the top. So to me, the biggest question mark going into the season is the Padres. You got the players, but we've seen it. Spent money on Bogarts. Re-signed Tatis. They traded Soto to get players. Now they're in a situation, they got expiring contracts, and you talk about how much money do you want to pay teams. Well, guess what? If you don't like it, yes, you can spend it, but I think one of the greatest movies in all of sports is Moneyball. Moneyball. And I bring that up because the A's realize we don't spend money, so let's figure out another way. Well, they figured it out another way. They were able to manipulate the system, get guys who are not necessarily devalued, but guys who are not as valued at the price range. And if you do that, you're going to work. I think the same thing can be said with all these other teams. The Marlins, when Derek Jeter wasn't in the ownership, traded away players, spent money to kind of get the prospects going. Same thing with the Mets. Steve Cohen made trades to get prospects, basically trading money for prospects to get the farm system. If you want to work it like that, it works. It's just a matter of, from a foundational perspective, do you want to go out there and spend money on free agents, or do you want to make sure that you're going to win for the next 5-10 years with prospects? And that kind of goes back to the Red Sox of Rafael Devers saying, hey, I'm the third baseman, and then Tristan Cassis saying, well, he's going to play third base, Bregman's going to play second. Well, you got all these young players. You know, at some point, you're either going to trade them or you're going to, you know, bring them up and something's going to have to happen.
Cassis also said that he doesn't think that Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, or Christian Campbell should be on the opening day roster because they have a bunch of adults in the room.
Adamantly disagree with that. Campbell should definitely make the roster. If there's this wide open spot at second base, Devers can't field. He's the 6th percentile and out against above average. Not great. Bregman won the Gold Glove. And Cassis, I love the player, but he just needs to shut up sometimes.
Needs PR training.
He's kind of a weird cat where he doesn't have any shoes before games. Is like bathing in the sun. Cassis, you haven't been healthy for 3 years. Let's see a full year of you performing before you start chipping in as if you're the manager of the Boston Red Sox.
The Padres is an interesting one because they also are changing ownership, not necessarily families, but obviously they just had their former owner die, and he was trying to go out and spend as much as he can, trying for like a last hurrah and be able to see his team win. And I think now they're taking a step back, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, trading Soto really takes a step back.
They did just sign Pivetta. That was their first spending any significant money this year.
$55 million.
Yeah. Do you guys have any teams that you think are going to be able to compete with the Dodgers?
I think the only team that can compete is the Phillies. I know they fall short every year, and I think it really just comes down to pitching and injuries. But if you get guys like Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos, Schwarber to stay healthy, I mean, I really think they're unstoppable. They just need to. I think this is their year. They fall short every year, but
I've been saying that the last 3 years.
I think it's their time.
Well, you might keep saying that.
Yeah, I could see Luzardo having a bad
That's what I was
going
to talk about. I think bringing in Jesus Luzardo was a really good pickup. Unfortunately, they lost Jeff Hoffman, who was a really good closer for us, absolute stud.
Awesome.
And that really is going to hurt us. But I think that they're making a lot of moves. I mean, they got the other pitcher from the Blue Jays, Romano. I don't really know too much about him, but I think
he was a good closer.
I think he's a pretty good closer. So I think to kind of fill those gaps, and I think we need to get the bats going a lot because in the beginning of the season they were awesome. They were going, and then Nick Castellanos just fell off the face of the earth and didn't contribute anything. And
Bryson Stott might be the key.
Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm's doing nothing.
I saw that walk-off home run in person, the grand slam.
Yeah, it's pretty special. So I think they got to get the bats going. But like you said, I would really hope if this was their year that they would do it because, I mean, we're not going to have these guys for too much longer. We can't afford to keep paying all these big guys. So.
I mean, you can. I mean, you could just spend money like it's out of style like the Dodgers.
True.
I mean,
it's just a matter of making sure that you still have a farm system.
Yes. Yeah.
Dombrowski never has a farm system.
Yeah, and that's why he will either when he's there, he's going to spend.
But he brings titles. He brings titles.
Yes,
2018.
He's either going to spend, and then it's going to kind of die down where you're going to have to readjust. The question that I guess I ask you in terms of the Phillies is, do you want them to just spend? Because at the end of the day, farm system is, I think, the most important thing in baseball because the biggest thing is you need to make transactions. Whether it be injuries, you got to bring someone up, whether you got to make a trade at the deadline, that's the biggest thing. So do you want to just spend and see what happens, or do you actually care about the longevity?
I think I care more about the longevity. I'd rather be average for a bunch of years than really bad and just try to win it all at one point. You know, I would like to have a consistent farm system, and I think they do right now. I mean, we've got Aidan Miller, we've got Andrew Painter, who's a really good pitcher, and he's been hurt for a little while, but is really, really good. So I think I would agree with you that I would keep that good farm system and rather than risking it all on a right now kind of move.
Matt, I've got a I've got a sleeper team, but and Ty is not going to be happy about my answer because you guys are both on the Phillies train. Yeah. Okay, so do you have a team?
It's hard not to say the Phillies just because obviously they're one of the teams that flip the switch like right when it comes into playoff time.
I think
and
they
stuff.
might be third in the
But
division.
I've got
talking about
a team.
the NL, I mean,
What, the Orioles?
Nope.
the Mets.
No one cares about the Mets. The Mets suck.
I don't know.
I'm not worried about the
Mets
Mets.
aren't around here.
I'm not worried about the Mets at all.
I'm so intrigued with this team.
People are not talking about the Braves.
I
who are
was gonna
going-
say
Ah, yeah.
Ozzy
I'm over
Albies,
the
man.
Braves.
Profar.
The
Braves
Braves,
are-
the Braves had a bad year last year because everyone was hurt. Acuna's going to be back, and obviously, assuming all these people stay healthy,
Even
you
your
could say that about
shortstop.
any team. Shortstop, yeah, it's
Yeah,
not-
Arcia. You
I
it
don't
can't.
doesn't
like
look
him
great.
At all.
No one likes
true.
Arcia.
But they have a
Terrible
lot of
player.
talent. Strider will be back. They lost Max Fried, but I
Sale
think
another year.
Sale,
Yeah.
Matt Olson, everyone is going to be back. Ozzy Albies, obviously.
Is
I
Zuna
think.
still kicking?
Oh yeah.
Well,
and
we'll see.
raking.
He had.
I
an
didn't mean that literally.
he had a interesting year last year, and there was for a short period of time. To your point, I was like, if he is in MVP contention, can they really give it to him, given all of his off the
Yeah,
field
or
stuff?
that was
Yeah,
like
I
kind of
don't
like how I
understand
felt
it.
when we signed Chapman.
Yeah,
Like
he fizzled out a little bit.
He's good, throws really hard,
Yeah.
but it's like, can you really root for the person?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic
like
for
morals.
another day.
Yeah,
Morals
for another
based.
time.
That's
yeah.
a lot of sports. There's a lot of
Yeah.
interesting characters in sports. But I think so. We have the Phillies, all three. This whole couch here is a Phillies couch today. And then Derek, did you give a team?
I said Padres with a
Padres,
question
yeah,
mark
question
because I
mark.
just think it depends
The
on the
political
moves.
answer,
Like I
right.
think if you keep a guy in King, you keep a guy in Cease, and you figure out a way to kind of get things together. Maybe it's add a free agent or some guy in the minor leagues all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden comes up and does extremely well, at least in the farm system.
Mm-hmm.
Or you make a move. We saw what they did with Juan Soto. You trade Juan Soto, you add King, you add extra pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you trade Cease and you add extra pieces around your roster
Mm-hmm.
to try to make it a better roster, that can be a team that everybody's saying, oh, well, you traded Cease, maybe they trade King, you traded that top arm,
Yep.
but you got a better roster.
Yep.
People talk about Soto going to the Mets. Well, some people say the Yankees have a better roster. Well, you lose
We'll
one of the best players in baseball.
Yep.
But you can make your team better constructionally
Yeah.
in terms of, yes, now you had a center
I'm not
fielder,
entirely sure it's
left fielder.
constructed the best way yet, but we'll see. I mean, time will
Yeah.
tell. And then you had the Rangers.
I had the Rangers, yeah, but the Sox will be good this year. I guarantee it.
Ty had his take of the Dodgers being not as good as everyone projects them to be. Does anyone else have any other takes for the MLB season that they want to share?
When it comes to the Phillies Braves kind of rivalry, all I'm gonna say is three letters is BTA, and I want everyone to remember that. Those who know. We've owned that franchise for a while now, so Arcia is in the past, and I'm ready to see what my Phillies do.
Crochet Cy Young.
Okay, that's obviously a
bold
Red Sox
take.
bias, but it's possible. I think
He stays
first,
healthy.
First full year as a starter.
Yep.
I mean, the leash is going to be off.
Yeah.
He's got to be going 6-7 innings. He throws 99.
I like also when players that are good on non-competitive teams are able to, like Jazz last year, he had a much better second half, and
Yeah, Jazz is good.
it always
It's all about the
helps.
trade
Yeah.
deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, yeah, you're a big obviously
Definitely shifts the
proponent of
culture.
that. Any player that's not so good or on a not so good team that's a good player, I think their ceiling elevates when they get to a competitive team
Yeah,
just because of the
100%,
people that you're
yeah.
around. And with that, we're going to wrap this up. This has been a fantastic MLB little segment. I'm excited for spring training. Thank you guys all for joining me again for Aidan Asks. Derek, why don't you take us out?
All right, well, thanks for coming back to episode
Thank you
2
for
of
having us.
season
Thank
3.
you for having us.
Newcomer David, I'm Derek. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Student Section Podcast. We will see you real soon.